Some trips change your passport. Others change your life. This one did both. I flew to Puerto Rico expecting 2 weeks of exploring history with my son and celebrating Mother's Day with my parents. Instead, it became one of the most important trips I've ever taken. Before this trip, my mom and I had spent every Mother's Day together since my son was born. When my parents retired to Puerto Rico, that tradition suddenly had an ocean between us. So my son and I planned a surprise visit. Well, it was supposed to be a surprise. I eventually had to tell my parents so they wouldn't make other plans for the week. Mom asked us what we wanted to see while we were there. My son and I immediately started making a list. Historic sites, old forts, lighthouses, anything with a story. My parents, they just wanted to spend time on the beaches. Looking back, that should have been my first clue that everyone was taking a different vacation. Murphy's Law got involved before we even left Florida. Thunderstorms rolled through, flights were delayed, cancellations piled up, and our carefully planned departure completely unraveled. For a while, it looked like the trip might not happen at all. Eventually, we pieced together another flight. Not the one we wanted, but one that got us there. The next day, we finally arrived. Instead of staying in a hotel, my son and I stayed with my parents for the full 2 weeks. They lived upstairs, we stayed downstairs. It gave us all our own little space while still letting us spend nearly every day together. After all, that was the real reason we had come. The first week felt like the vacation we'd imagined. We explored Cabo Rojo, climbed an observation tower overlooking the famous salt flats, visited the lighthouse, spent time together at Combate Beach, celebrated Mother's Day, found my favorite beach in Rincón, and even discovered an abandoned nuclear dome with a fascinating story. Not everything went perfectly. The power went out. My son discovered he was apparently allergic to the sunscreen we'd packed. And we had an unexpected day spent doing absolutely nothing. But honestly, those slower days became some of the memories I treasure most. Then came day 8. The day that split the trip into 2 completely different stories. We started with plans to visit the Arecibo Observatory, closed. So we pivoted to Rio Kamui Cave Park. That tour was incredible. Halfway through, though, my camera batteries died. Luckily, I'd packed extras. I remember changing them in the car afterward and laughing. Haha, not today, Murph. I brought backups. Apparently Murphy heard me, because the very next stop was closed too. We climbed down to a nearby riverbank anyway, and that's where I slipped, broke my ankle, and instantly changed the rest of the trip. That fall didn't just end our sightseeing. It ended my nightly journal. The rest of the vacation became doctor visits, learning how to get around on crutches, finding moments of joy where we could, and eventually figuring out how to fly home with a broken ankle. I finally made it back to Florida on my birthday. Looking back now, I barely remember the places we missed. The list my son and I made before we ever left home, most of it never happened. What I remember is spending 2 uninterrupted weeks with my parents while they were still healthy enough to enjoy it. Watching my son make memories with his grandparents. Laughing through the unexpected. Learning that sometimes the trip you planned isn't the trip you're meant to take. Over the next several episodes, I'll take you through the Puerto Rico we did experience, the history we found, the places that surprised us, the adventures that went wonderfully, and the one that went spectacularly wrong. because sometimes the best travel stories aren't the ones that follow the itinerary. They're the ones that survive it.